Well, all right, YouTube, here's the deal. For all my followers who, well, I got over, I think, last I looked at 1,000. I actually haven't been on YouTube for a couple of months or better. Had some issues with my computer that I told some, if you actually watched any of, well, most of my videos, I had some trouble with my computer. We put a program on it, we ended up, couldn't get it back off, and was asking for administrative permission, and it's like, wow, you know, and well, everything started going slower and slower and slower, and I bought another computer. I started putting video on it. Well, unfortunately, it died. I sent it to my brother-in-law, who is a computer expert, actually travels the world programming stuff. He got a few videos back, but they're sporadic, they're all over the place. So here we are. Those videos you last seen for this 65 Mustang were about a year old anyway. So, and since then, I know it doesn't look like it, I have been doing huge remodel work in the house, taking up a lot of time. Got wood on the floor I'm fighting, you know, sheetrock and plywood and cement board and tile and you name it, we're doing it. I had to spend $12,000 plus to have the house leveled underneath. Had a lot of concrete work done. So I am way behind. I have videoed very little. And so because of that, I'm afraid that we're just going to have to talk our way through this car right here. So if I find any video that's important, or if anybody has anything specific they want to see, I'll go through and see what I have, and we will go from there. But it was actually worth kind of skipping away and moving forward because they were getting kind of monotonous. And although they did explain some things, especially on the power steering end of it, which was I think the last video we did was rebuilding the actuator and stuff, I've had lots of trouble with this car. We will. Oh, I've been doing tile work today, so I have a power steering leak. Not uncommon. That hose hangs down because, like I told you, that stuff all has to move. The way that Ford did the, well, Ford wasn't the only one, GM did it too. But Ford was one of the last and longest with them. But as you can see, everything is brand new. Every line, every hose, every fitting, every A-arm, springs. I think I did a video on that. Obviously the engine's in. All the steering stuff is brand new. Everything is new. So now I gotta make you look stupid for a minute. So with that said, I have 40 miles on the car probably. I haven't put that many miles on it because I was having power steering problems. Ended up being my fault. And I did not have the bump stop set proper on this side. Excuse me. The stop as far as how far it turns to the right, I did not have it set right. Therefore, when you try to turn all the way to the right, it would it actually blew the cylinder apart twice. Ended up having to have it replaced again, the steering cylinder, and blew the hose 4 or 5 times. So I learned what I did wrong and I fixed it. So now I just have a leak on the one end. I just need to fix it. I just haven't had time to do it. So anyway, here's the motor. This is the one you saw me build. Put the heads on the wrong side, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, that's it. GM style HEI distributor. I know it's dirty because, well, it's just dirty because it's dirty. Has a Holley Sniper EFI I'm having trouble with. I've had several problems with it. I won't get into that right now. But because I'm still working through them, I have to get a hold of Holley. It starts and runs. It runs fat, cold. Sometimes it's hard starting hot, but that's not my problem. The fuel pressure regulator was, which is right there. It's bolted into that, into that system there. It looked like somebody used a 9/16 socket and beat it in and smashed it flat, and it overpressured my system. Thought it ruined my motor. It was blowing blue smoke and just way over fat. It expanded my fuel line going into the filter, and on the other side of the filter it expanded twice its size. It was a mess. I finally figured it out. I took it all apart. It was smashed flat. I tried fixing it. It was not worth the time to try to repair, so I bought a new one from Summit Racing and put it in, and that fixed that problem. But we have another one. Doesn't make a difference. It's got the Willwood master cylinder in because the one I bought for the system from CJ Pony did not work. It would not fit. As you can see, there's very little space there anyway. And as you can see, this actually has the European style brace on it. I had to do that because the factory one that's spot welded on would not allow this, and it's actually hitting the master cylinder as well. This cable is there because my clutch linkage would not work, so I ended up losing that. I had to put headers. I put two separate, oh my goodness, I'm jumping around, but I had two separate sets of headers to put on this. Neither one worked. Long tube shorty because of power steering and the Z-bar that I had to buy separate because of 6-cylinder V8s are different. I could not get the 65 clutch fork and throw-out bearing to work with the 88 clutch and bell housing. For some reason, it just felt really, really wrong. You'd push the clutch in, it was easy, then it got a really hard spot in the center, and then it went to the floor real easy, and when you tried to let off of it easy, it was all or none. So I finally just give up, since it was an 88, whereas it was a Fox body style bell housing. I just bought the cable. I hate it. I didn't want it because it's really long and wraps around the power. It just looks like crap, but that's what I had to do. So that was 300 some bucks. I got a lot of money in this car, that's all I can tell you. Wiring was something else. You know, this car was not designed to have a whole bunch of accessories in it. So here's a relay for, I think this one is, I can't remember if this is for the fan. And this one back here is for the fuel pump. I can't remember now. It's been over a year. Well, it's been a long time anyway. So I had to put this in, and that still didn't give me enough. When I was running everything off of this pin here, I had electric choke at the time, so I had a Holley on there. It would not run the electric fan, the choke, the HEI distributor, and the electric coolant. I mean, yeah, what else was on there? It doesn't matter. It wouldn't run at all. They started like losing power on it, and it would certain things wouldn't work. So I give up on that, and there's actually a big kill switch inside, and that's what I ended up having to do. Plus it kind of helps, kind of a theft deterrent deal. It's hidden, but that will shut all the power off. It's all keyed switch then, and everything else pretty much runs the way it's supposed to. So that's what I had to do. It's the way it works. So anyway, with the header situation, since I'm jumping all around again, I ended up just going with a set of stock manifolds. You have to pull the engine up to put it in anyway. So I just went with a stock set of manifolds, just what I had to do to make everything work. Electric fan is run off the Sniper, works great. This is the overflow, just one of them polished jobs. It's covered with transmission fluid because of the power steering. It had right off the bat, Chinese thing leaked from the bottom where it overflowed, so I had to take it all back apart and JB weld the bottom of it. Thing stands, stays plenty cool. Aftermarket radiator, obviously. And the fan so far kicks on and off like it's supposed to, so no problems there. That Willwood master cylinder has an adjustable proportioning valve, which so far I haven't really noticed much difference, adjusting it from one way to the other. So we'll go in here now. So I changed the steering wheel because that 16¼ inch I had trouble getting in anyway, so I put in one of these wood ones, smaller. I think it's 15 inch or something like that. Got a Hurst shifter, which is a little tall, but I don't mind it. It's a Hurst shifter with the white Hurst 5-speed ball. I do have a brand new. It says Tremec on it, but it's still basically the old Borg Warner style T5. It's brand new. Everything was brand new. I did not use anything used on this except the engine block and heads. Obviously crank and rods. Everything else was new. Drive shaft ordered from CJ Pony. It was an exact. It was for this application where you were taking a newer T5, small block T5, and the 8-inch factory rear end, which is not. It is factory out of a '66. I had it rebuilt. Well, I did it myself, and man, I had it whine and stuff like that. So I didn't much care for it, but it's 355 gear, true track. Pausing unit, new leaf springs, new new shocks, new mounting hardware. Everything was new. Drive shafts new, fuel tanks new. It came with the Sniper fuel injection kit I got from Speedway Motors, along with the fuel line and the regulator. Everything came with it. $1,700 or something like that at the time. I did have to. This shifter was actually leaned over so far. It was actually you'd hit your hand going in second gear. So down here below this here, I actually just made a cut in it, leveled it out, and welded it back together to kind of get it up here. So when it's in first, it's actually pretty good, So anyway, that works great. And another expensive system. I went ahead and went with the Dakota digital gauges. I just thought that was the way to go. So this is going to be a cold start. I did have it running yesterday, but it's 69 degrees right now. So hold 63 pounds of oil pressure. I'm sorry, here it is. Hold 60 pounds of oil pressure cold. That's the water temperature right now. Volts is 14.7. Fuel is 95%. And then I've got the sniper system deal. Oops, I just hit it. Didn't mean to do that. I hate when I do that. I hit the button. Don't know what I hit. No, I don't want tuning. Man, I don't know what I did. Yeah, it's multi. No, come on now. No, that wasn't it. No, that wasn't it. I don't remember what I did. Okay, I don't know what I hit, but okay. So that's kind of what I've got set up there. I do have the fans top left. It's off, obviously. The 94 is the temperature slowly coming up. Battery voltage, RPM, AFR, stuff like that. I just kind of leave it in here. So it's running fat. Like I said, you can hear it. Sounds pretty good though. Sounds like it's got a big cam in it. It doesn't. It's just running fat. Once it warms up, that kind of quits. Yeah, I mean, look at. Yeah, I've only got 38.9 miles on it. I don't have the speedometer set yet. I just need to set my GPS up and go through the instructions to remember how to set it. I just haven't done it yet. Like I said, I've spent a lot of time and money on this car, and there's still some things we're working through. But we are working through them. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the gauge setup. I actually changed it. They were green and they came with a teal background, so I went ahead and put the teal ones in, and I kind of like that. Wife did too. So. But anyway. Okay, so back to what we were going with the rest of it. So I put all new exhaust on it, obviously too. I widened it out so that if I had to pull the transmission, I don't have to pull the exhaust to do it. So you can kind of see it under the car. I really don't care. The new springs all the way around really had to give this thing a stance that we were kind of looking for. And so this is where the big thing went. This is where I spent oh man, it's like $2,250 for these wheels and tires, but boy, did it make this car. You ready? Nothing like a set of Krager SS's with BF Goodrich radial TAs on it. So it really changed the appearance of this car. We're really, really happy with it. So my wife didn't like that color green until that. Something else, listen to that sniper making noise. That's the injectors pulsing. But anyway, so like I said, we did get it together. I got it together. I got it running. It's been driving and stuff. I had some issues with the brakes. That was also my fault. I actually adjusted the. I had the rod was too tight, so it actually, when you could take off down the road, within 1 to 3 miles, the front brakes started dragging, and man, I couldn't figure out what was going on, and and I messed with it for a bit, and the pedal was right off the top, and I thought, man, there's got to be something I've done wrong. So I took it all apart and then realized I had just adjusted that pin way too tight, so it was actually giving it pressure as it went, and the warmer it got, then the worse it got. So what I ended up doing was I shortened the rod up, and now it actually works like it's supposed to. So some of the things you got to work out on your own, because there's no instructions on most of this stuff, and you know, although a lot of it could be self-explanatory, I've never actually done a brake conversion on anything before. So going from drum brakes all the way around to front disc and all new, you're changing from non-power to power, which I know that's not a big deal, but you had to run all your new lines and, you know, everything like that. Well, doing all that myself, you just sort of learn it, or you know it, you don't know it. And so anyway, I figured it out and it works now. So the power steering system is right except for the leak, and that's coming from the main line where it's I had to make my own line that went into the actuator, and I had to put it together the other day in a real quick hurry, and in doing that I just didn't get the hose clamps tight enough. I'm surprised the line hadn't blown off, but because it's flared, it can't, it's just leaking by it. I ought to do it just before when I get off here. I ought to just get tighten it up, but either way, you can hear it's kind of hunting. That's not my problem though. That kind of goes away once it's warm. The problem is the throttle sticks right off an idle. It has a, like right here, as soon as I give it any gas, it stops right there. And you have to break that. You have to break that stick, and it sticks just off of an idle. So you can take off easy first and second gear, and once you get into third, you can go ahead and give it the throttle and it'll be okay. If you do that in first or second, it just spins the tires or it jerks and jumps and stuff like that. Either that or you got to wind it up past that point to take off. And my wife can't drive it like that. It's just not. It's wrong for me. It's really wrong for her. And it does not do that while it's not running. It only does it while it's running. So it's not a linkage issue. It's not something that's catching it. I don't have a return spring on it. There's no hoses or vacuum lines or nothing running on that side. And so I've even unhooked the throttle linkage just to make sure. But it doesn't do it when it's not running. It only does it while it's running. So there's something in there. And as it's hunting like that, it seems to me like there's a throttle position or a idle control or something that's not right. So I've got to call Holly one day when I have some time where I can actually wait around for them to answer and then go through a million questions and a bunch of scenarios and things to try and stuff like that. But you know, sometimes it's just what you got to do. But I would take you for a drive today, but I really got to get going. I just got done laying some tile in the house, and I got some cleanup to do, and I just thought I'd bring you out here and show you that I have not given up on YouTube. It's just right now priorities have changed and the house has to get done. Plus I also, unfortunately, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately, it's a big deal. I may find a video or two on this. This is my buddy's '67 SS Impala convertible. I committed to doing all the body work on it, and so we put the big block in it, turbo 400. We've already done a first start on, which I think I have some video on, which will probably come out after that. I just want to show you though that I kind of committed to doing this, so I'm doing my house and doing this. Had to put several patch panels in this quarter, and the other one's going to be just as bad. The rest of the car's in pretty decent shape. The floors were a little rough. Fenders are beat to death, but I think I can fix them. So anyway, I'll bring you back on this car here when we get going. This one, like I said, is kind of on a standstill until I can get the fuel injection system done. But I just thought to get you a video out to show you that I am still working on things, but this one here is kind of took a back seat because it is running right now. I have a couple of things I need to do to it, and once it's done, it needs an alignment. And then I'm going to go do a nut and bolt retighten because it's been about 40 miles. I usually try to do it pretty quick, especially wheels and stuff like that. But in this particular case, I was pretty sure I had everything tied on the car because it's been so long, you know. So anyway, I'll bring you back though when we'll do a drive on her when I can get this thing kind of figured out, and then we'll go from there. So I'll bring you back. Talk to you later.